Hola! Another part of this week's lesson is to learn about telling time in Spanish. And in order to be able to talk about time in Spanish, you also need to know a few more numbers. So let me introduce to you some more numbers. Please make sure that you have a piece of paper out to take notes on, especially for these extra numbers because I don't know that they are on your vocabulary list. So just make sure you write them down. So you obviously need to be able to use numbers up to 59 to talk about time on a clock. So those are the numbers that we're going to add for you today. So 32 is the way you say 32. 32, 32. 34, 34. You should begin to see a pattern now that Spanish is using. They're using the word 30, which is 30, the word y, which is and then the number cuatro for 4. 34, 34. 37, 37. 40, 40. 41, 41. 45, 45. 48, 48. 50, 50. 53, 53. Do you see that it's using the same pattern? That it's using the word for 40 or 50, and then it's using the word y for and then the number following, as in this example, 53. So literally 50 and 3. 53. 56, 56. 59, 59. So those are all the numbers that you will need in order to talk about time. So if you did not put these numbers down in your notes, please add them, 40, 45, and of course everything in between, and 50, 55. Okay, if you need to pause to write those down, make sure that you have those in your notes. So now let's talk about time in Spanish. The question, what time is it, in Spanish is ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? The word hora looks like our word hour. What hour is it, or what time is it? Is the way we say it in English. ¿Qué hora es? If you want to say it's 1 o'clock, you're going to use the verb es, and you're going to use the number una. Notice that it's in a feminine form, and that you have to use a feminine article with it, la, and it has to be singular. So you say es la una. Es la una. So when you want to say 1 o'clock, you say es la una. By the way, there is no word in Spanish that would replace the English word o'clock. When you want to say that a time is more than just 1 o'clock, you would use son and then the number, and notice that now you use a plural form of the word las. Son las dos. Son las dos. If you want to say it's some minutes after the hour, you would use the word y, which is the word for and. So you would say son las 2:05. Son las 2:05. So it's 2 plus 5 minutes is understood. Son las 2:15 would be what you would say for 15 minutes after the hour. It looks like the word quarter, And you know that a quarter is a fourth of a dollar, or it's also a fourth of the 60 minutes on the clock. So you can say 2:15. Son las 2:15. You could also say son las 2:15, because quince is the word for 15. For 30 minutes after the hour, you can say media, media. So you could say son las 2:30. Son las 2:30. Of course, you could also say son las 2:30 because media is 30 minutes after the hour. If you want to talk about some amount of minutes before the hour, you can use the word menos. Menos means minus. So you can say son las 3:10. In English, we would usually say it's 10 until 3, but Spanish would say it's 3 minus 10. So you would say 3:10. Son las 3:10. Of course, you could also say son las 2:50 because it's 50 minutes after 2. Son las 2 or son las 3:00 would be the way you would say like it's exactly or on the dot. Son las 3:00. Son las 3:00. If it's 12 o'clock noon in Spanish, you would say es mediodía. Es mediodía. And if it's midnight, you would use this expression, es medianoche. Es medianoche. Sometimes you want to talk about whether it's a time in the morning or a time in the afternoon. So if you want to say it's a time in the morning, you would say son las 6 de la mañana. Son las 6 de la mañana. If it's in the afternoon, you would say son las 3 de la tarde. De la tarde is the expression for afternoon. Son las 3 de la tarde. At night, you would say son las 8 de la noche. Son las 8 de la noche. The expression de la noche is what you would use for times that are at night. So let's do a little bit of practice now. I'm going to put a time on the clock, and I want you to think about and say out loud what time you think it is. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Son las 5 de la tarde. You could add de la tarde because you can see that the PM part of the clock is highlighted with red. Son las 5 de la tarde. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 7 de la mañana. Son las 7 de la mañana. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Son las 8:15. Son las 8:15. You could add de la mañana, and you could change cuarto to 15 for 15 if you wanted to. Son las 8:15 de la mañana. ¿Qué hora es? Careful with this one. ¿Qué hora es? Es la 1:30. Remember that if it's 1 o'clock, even if it's 1 o'clock plus any other minutes, you want to use the expression es la. Es la 1:30. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Son las 3:45. Son las 3:45. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Son las 2:25. Son las 2:25. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Son las 12. Son las 12. Or you could say, es medianoche. Es medianoche, because it's midnight. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 2:30. Son las 2:30. Or you could say, son las 2:30. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 4:40. Son las 4:40. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 6:20. Son las 6:20. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 7:55. Son las 7:55. ¿Qué hora es? On this clock, it's easy to see that it's 5 minutes until 8. So remember, you can use the expression with menos. So you could say, son las 8:-5. Of course, if you wanted to, you could also say, son las 7:55. Either would be acceptable. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 4:45. That's a little bit tricky, right? Because you have two words that look almost the same. 4:45. So it's 4 minus a quarter of an hour. Or you could say, son las 3:45. ¿Qué hora es? Well, it's time to practice. There's a couple other links on this page that you can use to practice more and listen to more. And then there's a practice quiz that you could take. It's not for a grade, but please take time to learn how to tell time in Spanish. Nos vemos pronto. See you soon. Adiós.